Good afternoon, everyone. We are the group number 8, and we will be presenting the scientific revolution featuring Antoine Van Leeuwenhoek.
Microbes are in us, on us, and all around us. They have a wide range of functions. They can cause the decay of materials, ferment sugar to make wine, and produce antibiotics. But did you know the discoverer of microbes wasn't a scientist? He was a draper. Drapers used magnifying glasses to inspect the quality of their fabrics. Antoine Van Leeuwenhoek was a draper and merchant who, unhappy with those lenses, taught himself glassmaking. He created high-quality tiny glass spheres that could magnify objects up to 270 times. His microscopes were less than 2 inches long and were used by holding one's eye close to the tiny lens and looking at a sample suspended on a pin. As a good merchant, he knew to keep his microscope secret, but that wouldn't be possible for long. Van Leeuwenhoek was a curious man, so he started analyzing anything he could get his hands on. He sent his discoveries on mold, lice and bees to the Royal Society in London, who were familiar with similar work. However, his next discovery caused the scientists to question his credibility, as it was something completely unknown to them. Van Leeuwenhoek had come upon an infinity of tiny animals in pond water, which he called animalcules. They are now known as microbes. This was the first ever sighting of single-celled organisms, so no wonder the Royal Society didn't trust him. Van Leeuwenhoek was forced to show his microscopes to various political and religious personalities they sent to prove he was of sound mind, and they finally believed him. Van Leeuwenhoek never wrote a book. His discoveries were all communicated through hundreds of letters to the Royal Society. These included the description of blood cells, the confirmation that blood travels through capillaries, and the sighting of moving cells in human sperm, which helped refute the spontaneous generation theory. Science would never be seen with the same eyes again.
So who are the key figures in the revolution? We have one, and the main is Antoine Van Leeuwenhoek. Antoine Van Leeuwenhoek was born on October 24 in Delft, Netherlands, to a family of traders or tradesmen. His father was a basket maker, and his mother and her family, they were all brewers. Anthony simply did not have any fortune or education to bring along with him that could have made him a very valuable person in the time period. But it was because of his craving for knowledge and his endless curiosity that made him one of the most influential people to the scientific community. It was because of him that we discovered microscopic life, in example, bacteria and cells. And it was because of him that microscopes are now often being used. So that is all. To next speaker, please.
Anton van Leeuwenhoek is a Dutch businessman and scientist that known as the father of microbiology. He is one of the first microscopists microbiologists back in 70s. He made to make the first observation of bacteria and protozoa. He discovered a little animal called protozoa, the single-celled organism, and he called them animalcules through a microscope. He used single-lens microscopes of his own design. He is often cited as the first microbiologist to study muscle fibers, spermatozoa, blood cells, sperm cells of animals, and blood flow in capillaries. Leeuwenhoek's discovery was important because it changed the emphasis of scientific observations from big things to small things. He attracted attention to such tiny things as bacteria, microbes, and cells.
How did the revolution advance modern science and scientific thinking at that time? Through the many scientific experiments and observations, the scientists initiated a paradigm shift often known today as the scientific revolution. This revolution was crucial that it served as new bases and references in nature and the universe. It also sparked the discovery from big things to small things. It showed that there was more things that have yet to be discovered in our world. Today, we now know that study as microbiology or the study of small organisms that are crucial in our modern lives. So before, during those times, experiments only focused on subjects that are only visible by the human eye. However, with the coming of this new revolution, it made people and scientists lean towards observations of small proportions. Also, it was said that this revolution gave birth to various new branches of science, and one of them was microbiology, which was found by Leeuwenhoek. This made a drastic change in science and technology up until the very present. Finally, it opened up various new scientific experiments and observations to keep up with the newly found organisms. This made people, especially scientists, curious of other organisms and living things that have yet to be discovered and left a curiosity in our present time. And as said in the video earlier, science was never seen in the same eyes again. That is all. To the next speaker, please.
The controversies. Leeuwenhoek received no higher education or university degrees. This would have been enough to exclude him from the scientific community. His 1677 paper, the famous letter on the protozoa, gives the first detailed description of protists and bacteria living in a range of environments. Thus, he encountered two problems he could never handle very precisely: the naming of distinct species and their body parts. Leeuwenhoek was not a just man, and his brief verbal accounts aroused both curiosity and skepticism among members of the Royal Society. The colloquial diaristic conceals the workings of a startlingly original experimental mind. Later, scientists could not match the resolution and the clarity of Leeuwenhoek's microscopes, so his discoveries were doubted or even dismissed over the following centuries, limiting their direct influence on the history of biology. Next speaker, please.
After knowing all the facts about Leeuwenhoek, let us now proceed to answer the question, how does Leeuwenhoek impacted the society in general, and what are the practical applications of his discovery to the modern science? His discoveries have changed the emphasis of scientific observations from huge things to tiny things. Focuses his attention to tiny things like bacteria, microbes, and even cells. And by that significant discovery have changed the world by introducing the science of microbiology. He then have created a major turning point in the course of science. And through its discovery of the microorganisms that has greatly impacts human lives, gives way to the discovery of drugs for curing diseases and as a way to study medicines. Because these microbes plays crucial roles in nutrient cycling, biodegradation, climate change, food spoilage, and the cause and control of disease and biotechnology. They can be used in many ways, making life-saving drugs, the manufacturing of biofuels, cleaning up of pollution, and producing or processing of foods and drinks. Through introducing microbiology, medical doctors and practitioners in the past up to these days push them to study more deeply and understand all the possibilities of diseases and their cures. This also teaches people in the society the importance of this field. It helps them better understand the implications as well as the importance of microorganisms. It then have urged people to be vigilant in everything, especially with their health. I think that would be all, and thank you very much.